I'm saying is, well, let me ask you this question real quick. Do you define simp paying for sex?
Well, I mean, I would say that simp is, it could be used multiple ways, but yeah, anyone that's paying for box, I would call them a simp. But I will.
Right?
No, bro. Yeah, if you pay for box, in my worldview, you're a simp.
Okay. All right. So the way I see it, a king, he has wives and he has concubines. Now, would you consider? Let me give you an example. King Solomon, he had wives and concubines. Now, in order to have these concubines, you got to feed them, shelter them, protect them, and no one else could touch them except the king. Not the soldiers, nobody else. She's not a prostitute, she's a concubine. So in other words, indirectly, if you have concubines there for your leisure or your sexual pleasure, you're still indirectly paying for sex if you have to feed them, bathe them, clothe them, and shelter them. So do you agree with that? Would you think that's still a simp? Would you call him a simp?
Yeah, I mean, yeah, man. Most of the concubines back in the day, they still was, they were there for breeding as well. So they were giving the king children. You know what I mean? So for the most part, they were having the king's babies. Especially back then, you ain't have no, come slide on a rubber real quick. You had these concubines, you was knocking them up. They was having your kids. So
he dodged the question again. And where I was coming from is that he's saying, this is what he's saying. Well, the only reason why the king have those concubines is because of breeding. Okay, fine. But as we know in history, the concubines that breed and have kids are not on the same level as the wives that have kids. Okay, so yeah, there's a lot of men out here breeding. All right, so he still deflect and didn't answer the question, do you consider a king a simp for sheltering, food, clothing, and protection? Because there's no one else that's going to touch those concubines except the king. And is either directly or indirectly, you're paying for this. Let's move on.
I mean, well, let's get down to the root of the debate, because right now you're just asking questions, kind of digging, trying to see my worldview. But I think you understand my worldview. So what's your main point?
Yeah. In other words, I would consider King Solomon a simp, but not because he has concubines. It's because the wives he had, he followed them because they believe in another God. That's the reason why I'll call him a simp. I won't call him a simp because he has concubines and he's protecting them and he's providing for them. So that's basically what I'm trying to say, is that I think we have to redefine simping in this day and age, because the way I see it, the way these women are portraying themselves now, we don't have that many options as a man anymore. We don't have any options anymore.
Yeah. Well, let's break it. Let's break it down. So you said that you think a king would be a simp because he has concubines and he's paying for these concubines.
No. I didn't say he. I said my reason why he is a simp is because he's following his wives that follow from he got wives from other nations. He has his wives, but he followed those wives, King Solomon, because they was for false gods, and he was led on to that, and he followed the woman. So
okay, I see what you mean. You're just using. Well, yeah, I mean now, but that's different. Like that's another reason to be a simp. Like a man that's following a woman. I mean, that's another way you could call a guy a simp as well. Like, I say something that's pretty crazy. I say, Adam, the fact that Adam followed Eve and bit the apple too, right. Adam was like the first simp. Nigga, listen to the woman. Right. So, but when I look at, when I look at simp, if we're speaking about it, okay, I could agree that it's a man that's following a woman's lead. He's listening to the woman, like the woman is giving him direction, right? Also, I would define a simp as a man he's doing the most and the woman isn't reciprocating on her end. Like he's the one that's doing everything, but she's not reciprocating any love, any genuine love, attention, affection, sex, and compliance, right? If she's not giving those things back, the things that the man wants, then he would be simping.
So as you can see in protection, there's a yes and there's a no and there's a no and there's a yes. It's on conditions, basically. And this is what I'm trying to get indirectly to get when it comes to paying for sex. That's what I'm getting at. Because, okay, I'll give you a scenario. I pay for sex for this woman here to fall in love with me. I consider that a simp. Paying for sex is paying for a service. In other words, what we usually say, man, we usually say we're not paying for her, we're paying for her to leave. Basically. All right, so I'm just giving you an example, right? So let's move on.
When it comes to guys that pay for box, the reason why I still think like paying directly for box, the reason why I think it's a simp is because like, how can you have your dignity attacked as a man if you're doing backdoor teen mom stuff to get sex from the woman? Like, if you think about it, who's man to man, right? We chilling, man, you chilling. You got group, or we go out on a group trip or whatever, or an event or whatever. One guy comes in, he's telling us a story. You know how guys get together, locker room talk. One guy comes in, he's like, yeah, I bagged this chick, man, boom, 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 da-da-da. I done clap, got that. You know what I mean? She was feeling the kid. You know what I'm saying? Done rizzed up all of that. She was feeling me. She was giving me that genuine desire. Then you hear another story from a man, and he's like, well, yeah, she said that her price was this. I went ahead and gave her the money, and, I got with that girl. You're going to be like, who are you really going to respect more? You're going to respect the guy that got it the natural courting process way. Right, he actually courted the woman instead of respecting the guy that paid for it. So
he's bringing in respect and morals. So let me give you an example of this. If you're a fornicator, right, and I'm married, and I'm looking at you fornicating, I could judge you and have a level of respect for you. That's it, okay? If you're doing this based on morals. If I'm married and I'm an adulterer, you looking at me, you could say, I have no respect for you, but you're still a fornicator because you're not married, right? So, like I always say, is in the eye of the beholder with the respect. So that's out the question. That's out the frame, bro, right? Because we live in a world that we in a sinful world. It's pick your poison. Whatever works for you at this time in this sinful world, okay? They're both wrong. So the way he see it, well, he don't have no respect for someone to paying for sex. Let's move on.
Basically, there's a lot of men that's not getting picked, and the way the women are moving now is like if you go on a date, you're already giving up protection, and you're on like an audition for her to figure out because she already knows she's a gateway to sex. So if I approach her, she looks me up and down. She said, "Oh, I'm gonna give this guy a chance." That means in her head that means he's potential for getting to bed with.
Okay.
She's not gonna pick somebody that she's not gonna go to bed with. Basically, now she wants to know what I'm about, and then that's when the audition goes on. Where once we go on a date, of course I'm gonna have to protect her because she's in my car. We walk into the restaurant, we go into the movies, and so on. And to me, it's like it's the other way around. I am the gateway to relationship. Why do I have to audition to you? If you already made up your mind from the day you saw me, that when I approach you, you say, I'm going to give him a chance because he's capable of being in bed with me. Where if I was somebody that was approaching somebody that doesn't look her type, and I come up to her, she was like, no, that's it. So she already made up her mind that I'm going to sleep with this man. Now I'm going to see. So it seems like the audition is the wrong way to me. I think now at this time and age.
So real quick.
So before I keep moving on, I'm just making something clear to him that women off the bat will look you up and down and say, all right, I think, he's capable in my mind that I could see him in bed with me right off the bat because they're the gateway to sex, right? It's only when you open your mouth or what you have or what you could provide change the whole aspect of the situation in her mind. But she's just not going to pick. You know what? Let me give you an example. And I love
monogamy was invented by men. Men need monogamy.
Because they wanted to, was it because the average man wanted to have a beautiful woman?
No.
Why was it?
No. Monogamy is necessary because if you say we're going to develop a polygamous community, well, what happened is what the women will do, because women, we are genetically wired to want to procreate with the biggest, strongest, richest man. This is embedded in us. There's nothing anyone can play God to say that I'm not like that. Yes, you are, sis. God made you that way. And it's for a reason. It's how you keep the human race going. Not all men are meant to be carried on. Some are meant to die out in their lifetime.
So she might not be your first pick, but she is picking. And she already see in her mind, Now, you might not be her fulfillment and fantasy. I mean, you're on the 5th floor, but she want a man on the 6'5" floor. Okay, but it doesn't matter. Okay, you have other attributes and accolades, or whatever you want to call, that she decides she's going to pick you anyway, or she's not biased, right? And she could work with you if you're not her type. But you have to be a certain type, just enough to say, well, yeah, I could see myself having sex with you. So let's move on, and let's hear what you have to say about courting a woman.
You think that you're calling it an addition? You think that a man courting a woman, hey, how you doing? Hey, it's nice to meet you. What's your name? Da da da. Exchange numbers. Take the woman out on a date. He gets it the natural way. Put it like this, bro. Courting a woman and dating a woman regularly is not degenerate. Forget about the whole sex part, because like the sex part is like sleeping around. No one's trying to promote the sleeping around and stuff like that. So forget about the sex part. We're just speaking about the courting, how to court women. Courting women the natural way, and the man is, asking the woman out on a date, and everything is genuine, and he has genuine intentions. It isn't degenerate. Something, short term or long term could come from that. When you're paying for boxes only short term, it's degenerate. It's not anything that's good to do, right? So from a moral perspective, it's 100%. Like we can argue, you'll lose. It's immoral, right? So you're going to lose the immoral argument, but then also from the respect factor and the self-dignity factor. Like anytime you'll be in a customer frame. If you offer money up to a chick, she's not going to look at you anything but a customer. And customers don't get no respect from a woman. Like, yeah, you'll get some box, but it's like, it's not going to be anything good.
Well, everything you say is correct.
Yeah, but why would I court a prostitute? Okay, see, he's giving me mixed signals, right? Because if you want a prostitute, you just want a prostitute. If you want to be on a date, right? All right, so dating and courting. This is the way I see it. I don't believe in dating. I don't believe in dating apps. I don't believe in typing and talking on the computer to get to know each other, blah, blah, blah. I see it this way in the modern time, right? In this time, because back in the days, you'll just walk up to a woman and you'll talk to her and do it the old school way. But still, you can't do it that way in this time, right? You could, but it could be an issue if you don't know what kind of woman she is right off the bat. So you put yourself in a place, in a position. You like to go rock mountain climbing. Well, you have a group of people, men and women that like to climb mountains. A book club, a spin club, a bikers club, going to the gym. You see these people on a day-to-day basis. You talk to them, you communicate with them indirectly. And then after that, whatever club you in, you go for some pastries, you go for some coffee, blah, blah, blah. That's how you date. That's the way I see dating. And you might say, no, that's not right. But basically, y'all do it when you go to a lounge and you do it when you go to a club. And do you think in those places you're going to find anybody with quality? No, that's not the right places, but you still go there and you pick people. But the only place I would not try to date anybody is at your job. Okay? That's like a second home. And if things don't go correct, you could get harassment charges, sexual harassment, if somebody's got a power trip. So I don't think where you eat, you should shit. You know what I'm saying? Where you get your bread, you don't spread the butter. Not there. I don't think that work. Okay? There's details in that though. Okay? Depending on what area of work you in and stuff like that. But no. Not at work. But most of the time it happens at work. But you got to be very careful with that. Okay? Which one you going to want? You want a relationship? If you want a relationship, you're going to have to go through some process, right? You're going to have to go through some stages, right? And if you just want sex, don't put that woman in a situation where you think you're having a relationship and you're just doing it for sex. That's wrong. Okay? If that's the case, to me, just go get a prostitute and stay in your lane. But do I think it's wrong to do that? No. You're separating the two. You get what I'm saying? You're separating the two. And that's the way I see it with women when they go on dates with men, because majority of women that go on dates with men, we automatically think as a man that she already picked us for sex. She already opened the door, because what woman, if you're not her type, right? she's just going to shut you down automatically. She's just going to shut you down. As soon as you go up there and try to court a woman, she's going to shut you down. Now, see, we get advice from a man he's 6'5", he's handsome, he's making 6 figures, so he say, right? And of course, it's easy for him to say these things, right? But not everybody have those attributes. Not everybody has that. And not everybody's going to get picked. You see what that woman said? This is what I'm saying about men going on a date, providing and protecting. We gave up that protection already. Once she opened up those doors to say, you have some potential to be in bed with. This is how I see it. That now I'm going to give you a chance to go on a date. Let's go on a date. Okay, boom.
Look, don't go out with a man on one date that you would not have sex with. Don't go out on a second date if you don't plan on having sex with him. See, that makes you accountable for picking the men you go out with, not just going out to have a good time because it's on somebody else's time and their money. Our time and our money is valuable to us. And if you don't understand it, then you do it this way. You pay for everything until sex happens. Everything. Uber, the food, the drinks, everything. All on you. No, all on you. And then after sex happens, then he starts. You don't
That
get
wouldn't be a problem, but wouldn't that be like...
hold on, ma'am. I need to finish. Then it starts. You don't get your money back. Now go ahead.
Wouldn't that be kind of living like in a masculine type of energy, though?
I knew she was going to come with that masculinity shit, yo. It's just a regurgitated thing that goes on. I mean, you're not the man if you're not doing this. You're not the man if you're not doing that. But if you want a traditional way of men doing things right off the bat on the first date, then you have to be a traditional woman, or you have to have some kind of traits. And you have to show us, yes, us, that you get down like that. So how do we get down like that and show us that you have some interest in this, and it's just not the man wasting time and money? Those two things.
It will be living in an honest type of energy. See, if you had to do that, man, how many men do you think you go out with? The amount of men you would go out with if you thank you.
When I go out,
Thank you. See, if a woman had to I tell you, gentlemen, listen, watch where a woman puts her money. Where they put their money is where their heart is. See, a woman is not going to spend her money on a man that she's not going to be serious, that she's not going to be with. She wouldn't do it, but she'll take your money and your time. This is a perfect call for people to understand that you don't have to be overly masculine and aggressive to still think of men as a utility, as a tool to be used. Nothing in the conversation I've had with you, young lady, says that you want to be married for a man. It's all me.
Yeah, you're scratching your head, you're patting your head. You just got resetted just like that. Because just like Kevin Samuel said in that video, he said, if you're going out with your girlfriend, right, y'all paying half, right? Basically. And it don't make no sense if you have man friends that's taking you out. They want something. They put in the friend zone, right? But if a man is a man, if you want to go out with a man that have feminine traits, just go out with one of these homosexuals as your friend. And I guarantee you still, because you already know he ain't getting nothing. He don't want nothing from you. And guess what? You're going to have to pay your way anyway with your homosexual friend. Yeah, because I don't see no homosexual friend thinking that he's a man that wants your panani and is going to pay just automatically because you're a princess and you're just here in our existence. I don't see that, right? So I don't see a homo doing that for a straight woman. I don't, okay? All right? And I don't see you doing that with your girlfriend either. Everything's 50-50, right? And I know you can say, well, you know, one day she pay and the other day I pay. Hey, that's your drama to deal with. That's your drama to deal with. But at the end of the day, it's a 50-50 thing. Y'all go out to eat. You pay your shit. I pay my shit. We bounce. Uber, we pay half. We bounce. But since the man is playing a role as the masculine man, you try to take advantage of that man if you're not really picking that man. All right, let's move on to Cooley. Let's listen to more Cooley. Yeah.
But the problem is that the women today are running promiscuous, and it's what you can do for me. financially. And this is the generation. I'm 52 years old. So
who said the natural courting process way that the woman is looking at it, well, what you can do for me? It's not about that, man. You know,
now I cut it. Now I didn't cut it, right? So to make it look like he's saying something like some of these other channels did to him. No, I didn't cut it like that. I cut it because it's about 22 minutes long or 23 minutes long. I was on a live debate, right? And he does this every Wednesday and Sunday. And I got on, and you could go on and see the full one. I think it's the last Sunday, right? You could go and check that one. I'm the very first one. So you'll see it, right? And you could look for yourself that I'm not trying to mix up his words and play scramble and all this jive talk and shit like that. I ain't trying to cut his words up, but I had to cut it here because he said, what is wrong of courting a woman the natural way? And when he said that, and then when I look back at the video and I'm like, wait a minute, then he said this. Wait a minute, watch this.
You don't know her from a hole in the wall, and you're trying to get to know her. So doing a 50-50 date, it's like we both trying to get to know each other. And once you do that, then we move on and you get a little bit more protection in providing for you. So the first date should be a 50-50. The second date, well, instead of you paying for the movies, I'll pay for your
yeah, I mean, you could have
you understand where I'm coming from?
You know, you could have these, stipulations like, oh, my first date 50-50. Bro, most chicks in modernity, they're not taking that. Chicks got options.
Well, this is what I'm saying. This is exactly what I'm saying.
Well, yeah, they'll just take the guy that will actually pay for the full date. Like, I do a pass.
That's about $200 or $300 in this modern time, right?
Nah, man, you don't have to do that, bro. You could take a chick to get, a light little, coffee, tea. You don't have
natural. Modern women today is not going to pay 50-50. Natural courting. Modern women of today is not going to go 50-50. I'm confused. And then he says, well, you could take her on a little date, but if she's a modern woman and she only looking for a man that pays for the full date, right? And you're trying to naturally court a woman, something's not adding up. Because if you say, well, you could go on a little date with her and blah, 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 it's not adding up. And the reason why I say it's not adding up, because if she's a modern woman, she's not going to go on the first date to go get a little bit of coffee and a little bit of pastries and stuff like that and spend equal time, because time is very essence, right?
What I'm trying to say is that you could be indirect and get answers from a woman instead of being direct. And this is what you want if you're the man and you want to know if she's enough to be in a relationship. Now, if it's easy for you to see this woman, you know you want to have sex, fine, you can have the gift of gab at the end of the day and you could get it that way. But it depends if you look the part for her to open her legs, the gateway of sex. And there's some men that don't look the part. You see what I'm saying? And if they don't look the part, then I guess you're trying to say that those men are not worth it. They're not worth having anything to do with them. So
remember what that woman said? If we was about to have a polygamous community, right? And we left it up to the woman, they only gonna pick a certain percentage of men to flock to. That's just a fact, okay? She even said it, right? So you have to see, he have to take himself out of his realm. His realm is he's good looking, he's tall. Like, I have to get out my realm. I'm good looking. I have no problems getting women, but I have to take myself out that realm and be in another man's life and say, well, I might not be the one that's going to get picked. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm not going to get picked, does that mean I'm not worth having sex with a woman? Is this what the world is telling me, that I'm not good enough? Because when I step to a woman, she says no all the time. So that means I don't deserve sex at all? So let's listen a little bit more to what he's got to say.
They're already going to choose.
Yeah, ultimately, I get what you're saying now. Ultimately, yes, the man holds the key to relationships. But the women holds, you have to, most women, we got to just live in reality. Most women don't approach men. So you have to approach women.
I didn't say you can't approach. You could approach.
Yeah. So, but
you
even
have to lay the law down. You have to lay the law down.
You got to lay the law down. But even with the approach and everything, it's not that difficult. Like, I got 2 daughters, right? I got 2 daughters now. I want my daughter to have the best guy that they can have, right? So what I tell men is very simple. Get in the gym, try to make some more money, go on YouTube if you filling out a few things and you need some information on how to make some money. Click the link in my bio if you need some information on how to make some more money or to become masculine. So just try to be the best version of yourself, and you will get better results. It's competition out here. So what I'm saying is, with all of that,
be the best version of yourself. I hear you, bro. It's that easy. I mean, listen, don't be lazy. Go to the gym. Be the best version of yourself, and they'll just be there for you when you want. It doesn't work that way in the real world. Okay, there's some men out there that's just not gonna get picked. That's basically it, man. And you know what? Go subscribe to No Fugazi. You can see the whole thing, and he does explain some things on it, and you can see the full version of the video with me and him. But you know, I noticed something, like when I bring these things up about women don't, in this modern time, there's a majority of women, not just here in the United States, but other parts of the world. I talked about that in the video. You could go check it out. It's the one on Sunday. And they don't want to have kids and this and this. It seemed like he flips it back to me and say, well, you know, when I get these women on, and I don't, and I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I would like this from you on your channel, right? Because most of the time when I watch your channel, you have a bunch of women that's got issues and problems, and they can't really understand men and stuff like that. You know what I would like? If you put women that's married and is in a relationship longer than 10 years or married, and the woman over here that's all can't get it together and stuff like that, and let them correspond with each other. Because there are a percentage of women, they got their shit together, but you never show that part. You never show that part. And you never let them debate the woman that don't got their shit together. You don't show that part. You just bring these women on, and then, you go on with your rant and you try to correct them. But I think the best thing is when women correct other women, especially women that got their shit together. That's one. All right. So I think you should try to do that on your podcast. I got no problems with you or nothing like that, but show the best version of women. Just like you want the men to be the best version. But one thing about being the best version, sometimes the best version ain't gonna get picked if that woman decides that you're not her type. One day I'll do the 50-50, give you examples of 50-50. So let me give you an example of 50-50, right? Let's say you go on a date with a woman, right? And you pay her ticket. All right, bet. Now you're about to go get some popcorn, some soda, some pretzels or whatever, nachos or whatever, right? And she say, oh, I got it, don't worry. And then you say, no, I got it. Don't do that. Let her get it, right? And now, indirectly, you can see if she's really authentic about getting it or not. Because this is what could happen. She could be doing that reverse psychology so she could reinforce your providing protection. And she's trying to see if you're going to buy the popcorn and the soda, even if she says she's going to buy it, right? So don't do that. At the end of the day, if she says she's going to do something, say, oh, okay, that'll be nice. Let her do it. Now we're looking at actions, because sometimes when a woman think you're going to do this and you don't do it, and you tell her, well, go ahead, you could pay for it after you say you wanted to, her mood would change. Because at the end of the day, she might be broke and she's like, damn, I just spent that money. I thought this nigga was going to pay for it. You never know what a woman or a man is thinking. And this is what I'm talking about, 50-50. Now, we could go Kevin Samuels' way, right? But I'm talking about if we're going to do something, it's not about money. It's about the time. Because time you can't get back. You get that money back, but that time you can't get back. So listen, I'm not here to change your mind. I'll do a video on 50-50. For now, I'm going to leave this alone and go on another topic. I'm not here to change your mind. I'm here for you to read between the lines. It's not what they say, it's what they're not saying. I mix the lies with the truth and the truth with the lies. But at the end of the day, you love lies and you just hate the truth. One.